And what they do with revisionism is not just get things wrong. One of the greatest forms of revisionism is omission. And that's really hard to identify. I mean, if you have a textbook that says Abraham Lincoln dropped a nuclear weapon on Korea to end World War I, we'd all say, that's wrong. That's wrong on 4 counts. But if you have a textbook that doesn't even mention Abraham Lincoln, then you don't notice that. Right. What's not there, you have a tendency not to see. That's one of the greatest forms of revisionism, is simply not to talk about certain elements that had been so significant for so long.
Wow.
Now, you do get some revisionism in textbooks like this. It says it's a godless constitution. That is a rewriting of what's there. But then you also simply get textbooks that don't talk anything about any founding father, about faith or lack of faith. They're just silent. And that is the worst form of insult, is to be ignored. And that's what we've done with large portions of American history, is simply ignore it. We simply don't talk about it. And that's just as substantial a form of revisionism as is absolutely saying something wrong and rewriting it and making it into something it never said. So that's a form that we have to deal with. But that omission is what causes us not to know the reasons that the Constitution really is not a godless document.
The #1 source of the quotes, help me understand it again. So just help me. The #1 source of the quotes that the founding fathers found were traced back to the Bible.
That's right. The quotes that they used in political writings describing why they did what they did. Why did they do separation of powers? Where did they come up with the idea of separation of powers? Why did they do checks and balances? Where did they come? You read all the writings that dealt with all those issues, and you see who they're quoting. Well, they'll quote Montesquieu because Montesquieu talks about separation of powers. They'll quote different entities. But when you track every quote back, 3,154 quotes, you track them all back to see the source. The overwhelming source of those ideas is the Bible.
And we have people wanting to tell us we have a godless constitution.
That's right. But we buy that. I mean, by and large, most Americans buy that. Government is a secular institution. It was designed that way. It's supposed to be that way. Why would they say that? They don't know, but they've never heard any evidence that would indicate otherwise.
I see.
Right.
And so what happens is the absence of evidence is proof of what the assertion is. So when they say it's a godless constitution, I don't know of any evidence that disproves that. They must be right. And that's where most Americans are.
Wow.
They don't know about the study of political scientists. They don't know what's called the Sundays Accepted Clause. They don't know about the common law clause in Article 7. They don't know about the 4 oath clauses that are there. They don't know about in the Year of Our Lord clause that appears. There's 6 aspects of the Constitution that absolutely disprove any notion that it's godless. But we don't know what those are.